Steve, over to you. Thank you.
Hello, there we go. So first of all, thank you for being in the room. We've had a long day. And I hope that what I said at the beginning of how you listened, that you got something out of it even when you were tired or hungry. Or even right now, like you just recreate something. So I probably 4 months ago started having ideas of what to speak about on being, and I had notes and notes and notes and notes and notes. And I have a notebook up there that's about 60 pages of different ideas, and then I would just like, whatever time I have, I'll share this or that. We'll have a limited time, but I have lots of experience about being, so I'm going to try to put that into an amount of time to honor your time, because I could be here for a long time and I won't be, but I want you to know that what I'm going to do is just kind of go over there and be here. So I'm inviting you right now with me that if you're a little tired or you're a little hungry, kind of just shake your head off and get back in the room with me, and let's just spend 20 or 30 minutes together to be together and have the best we can have happen. Okay, could everybody do that? And if you're like asleep, wake up, move your head around, get ready. Okay, so I'm going to tell you an experience that happened here in Mumbai. We were supposed to get in at 2:15 a.m. We were in on right about 2:15 a.m. And there's 1,000 pieces of luggage on our plane, and 3 pieces didn't make it. I should have bought a lottery ticket. It was our 3 pieces. So we're at the airport. Ranjan and Veno are there to pick us up. We don't even get out of the security place till 4 o'clock a.m. Then we drive to this hotel that I've never been to in my life. I've never been to Mumbai, never been to any part of India. And we walk into the front of this hotel. And it was dark, so you don't see the beauty of it that you do in the day. It was really dim inside. You couldn't really see how magnificent it was. And we're already early, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I tell him I want to see the room that I'm going to be in. I always want to see the room. What's the space of the room? And I fill the room. So we came into this. There was something set up. But in order to get here, he took me to a place, and we walked down this hallway. And if you go to that inner courtyard, those rooms that just go up and up and up in the big circle. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? That big circle. And I walked out there, and I had seen it before. I had dreamt about it before. I wept. I said to my wife, this is that dream I had. It was the shape of this building. Look this is it. It was like deja vu. It was like, how did this happen? Was this building, and my first time I ever dreamt it was I'm a journal keeper. I keep a journal every day for so long until I burned 66 pounds of journals just to say goodbye to them. But so in 1982, I had that dream. It was this building. This building may not have even been here, so I don't mean it was this building. It was that experience. And it was so mind-blowing for me. And thinking, and I said, I have been here before. I have been here before. I have been here before. It was unbelievable experience for me. Unbelievable. I've walked out there and done it again, and I've showed people, this is where I was at, here's what it looked like. And we came at night, and it was just the amount of lights that are on. There's like every 30th light is on it. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I had seen that all. So this has been a really unbelievable spiritual experience for me. And I've said to everyone that's involved, it's really not about this last day. It's who have you been being on the way to get here? Who have you been being as you worked as a team? Or who have you been being when you talked to somebody about coming? Or like me, who was I being with him? And to really take a look and realize, I was being horrible. Who are you being when you're living life? Who are you being? So I'm inviting you to look at that. And now I'm going to do a crunch idea to get about being with this time. So be with me, cheer for me in your head, hear things in a way that you get it. So this isn't the truth. I'm also not lying. I mean, this is possible. I don't know the truth of being. I don't know the truth about it. And what I'm saying is not a lie. This is possible. That in our minds, the way our minds work, we can have passive ideas or we can have created ideas. And passive ideas, we could grab them, like a passive idea, like I'm going to go rob a bank. And then keep thinking about it, and then go rob the bank. Or I could have, I'm going to go rob the bank and think, no, I don't want to rob a bank. And then I have a creative idea that says, I'm going to be great. I'm going to love. So we have those two ideas. And then I want you to see that that mind, when it has those thoughts, when it chooses one of those, it decides who we're going to be. I'm going to be horrible to the guy that didn't empty my garbage. And that being creates all my doing. That same experience, what I could have done is thought, dang, that garbage is right there. That thing that I know how to use because I was a linen boy is right there. I'll just take that and dump it over there. My problem's solved. But that would be being something different. That would have been being humble, which I wasn't being. That would have been being thoughtful. Or like my wife, she said, maybe he didn't understand you. So we get to choose being as a concept. So I'm suggesting that over here in each of us is some sense of being, of energy, whatever you want to call it, God, light, spirit. It's here, and it is the most powerful possibility of creation in the present moment to choose who I'm going to be in any given situation. I can choose that, and I chose to be horrible. I literally chose that. I wanted to be right. I was thinking, man, I wrote that good thing for them, and they didn't take care of me. As soon as I have that state of being, that's the only kind of doing I can do. And I could have done so many things, and I chose that. So every experience is like that. So take the possibility that this being, as you choose, and it doesn't look like this is a crash course. It looks like this is happening outside me. There's nothing happening out there. It happens, and then you decide what it means. So this sense of being that's in each of us, I say it is the most extraordinary personal power on the planet, and it's inside each person right now. While I'm speaking, you can choose to be, I really want to get something from what he's saying this very moment, and you will get something. You could even get something that I'm not saying. I could say words and you get something else. That's the power of this being. So as a possibility, every time I do anything, I get to decide, okay, am I going to be that? 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 And then I say that this being is unbelievable. So I can be hateful down here, loving, and then I can be resentful, and I come down here kind of nice. I got all these levels of being. Love up here and hate down here. And as a possibility, we're choosing all those. You may think, hey, this is no, we made that up. We did that. We have the world we created. That you sitting in the chair, the sum total of your thoughts, actions, and beliefs of your life sitting in that chair right now. You want to change any of that? Change what you're thinking about and what you're saying about yourself. So in the short period of time I have, I want to be able to say that I believe that being, this energy, this life, is what has us be connected. It is the way we say, let's be one, or we're all one. It's in that state of being. We share this thing, being. This isn't a religious conversation. This isn't even a philosophical conversation or a psychological conversation. It's a conversation of possibility that what has us be united, related, is being. It is before sex. It is before color. It is before a nation. It is before everything. And then we have these other things. But we get to choose who we're being no matter what color we are, where we live, how much money we have or don't have. So what I know is that the highest possibility of that being is love. The highest choice is love. Down here is something not that. And what I've realized is the people that decide to choose from being love, that when they choose to be love and come from love more than they come from somewhere else, and it's not about being perfect. I'm not perfect. I just let you know, this wasn't 20 years ago. This was yesterday I screwed up. So it's growing, but the person who chooses that love frequently, all that will come out of them is pure service. When you are coming from the space of love, pure service falls out. You don't have to think about it. And I could give you 100 examples in this room because of where the person's coming from. What's there is pure service. We've got pure service sitting here in the fourth chair and levels of pure service everywhere. But where you see someone like Kasudi coming and walking on a beach, meeting the gal he met and then went back, that's pure service. He's just in love. Nobody has to give him directions on how to do that. You don't have to have a schedule on that. You don't have to read chapter 6 of anything. So there we have this place of being and choosing to be love. So I think what I'm going to do is, so does anyone kind of just get that fun concept? Make it easy. It's like, oh, I get to choose my life. I can be this or I can be that. This isn't rocket science. You don't have to have a degree on this. It's like, wow. And look at whoever's next to you and behind you. It's like, we're up here. It's like, I have as much of this being power as anybody. I have equally amount. I can tap into this as much as anybody can do it. There's nobody that's got more of this. It's what am I going to do with that being power? You cannot not be unless you're dead, and there's probably some other thing. But you cannot not be, and you cannot not create. And when you think a thought, you begin to create. A thought becomes a thing if you attach to it. So as a possibility, thoughts create being. When I'm being, I'll call it a seed. Any seed I plant gives me the fruit. If I plant an apple seed, I get an apple tree. If I plant a grapefruit, I get grapefruit. If I have 2 Pomeranian dogs, I get a Pomeranian dog. Somehow we think, wow, that works with the plants and animals, but it's not me. I can be really horrible here and not have horrible come out on him. I'm crazy. That'd be like planting horrible. If I'm being horrible, that's the seed. What's the fruit going to be? Horrible. You want to be able to see that. It's in everything. So if I'm being loving, I'm being loving, what tree am I going to have? You want to get that. It literally is the law of being, and I say it's the most powerful thing that there is. And you own it. You're doing it anyway. I am not doing anything different than you are. I'm being something all the time. And guess what you are? You're being something all the time. And you get to choose it. And if you can see that I'm actually choosing it, all of a sudden you have all the power in the world, including seeing where you've made a mistake and go clean it up. And don't be all over it forever. You just clean it up and move. So that's a little condensed idea. I apologize to have to squish anything in, but I want you to see that my opinion is that the power that is sitting in your chair, your ability to be, is the greatest power on the planet. Who you be is the greatest possibility. You get to choose who that is. Now, I think I'm going to go up there to read something, one little bit, but I'll give you a little background on it. This is in the book, and in the book are little, like the tip of an iceberg, and there's so much behind it. If all the stories were written, it would be 16 volumes. Not cool, there's more details. And so for Amy to write what she did and make it where it flows, I'm speaking for the National Extemporaneous Speaking Competition in the United States. I want to share this story because more than a few of you have asked me to talk about this. And with a limited time, nobody gets to come up and give me more of the same topics. It was the same. Many of you said, would you talk about that? That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing this thing out of all that I could do with time. So, short version. Every state in the United States would have a winner of the competition for speaking in their state. Then those 50 winners, plus the District of Columbia, which is not a state, but it had a winner, those 51 would go and they would compete against each other extemporaneously. And we go through 4 rounds, and at the end of the 4 rounds, there's 5 people standing left. I'm one of the 5. Now, in the front part of this, everybody that's in it's their mom or dad's the who's who of something. I don't have a dad, and I go to college they can't even understand the name of. And people in the room are really showing off who they are. My dad's a senator. We have this much money. And that goes, what school do you go to? Who's your dad? So when we got to the final 5, and I got the topic, I started laughing. I was laughing. And the other people that were with me, like, what's this guy doing? I was like, this is so over. I got this. I've won this. I have thought, it was like coming to this hotel, and I'd seen it before and had been there. It's like this topic is like, this isn't fair. I've been thinking about this. These other guys, they're just getting it now. And so I'm going to tell you what the topic was, and I'm going to read what's in the book. So I'm going to walk up there to do that. And on the way up there, I'm going to distinguish something. So keep the idea. We're going to talk about the National Extemporaneous Speaking Competition. We're talking about being. My wife is amazing. She has a distinction on family. Her distinction of family is her mom and her dad, her husband, her kids, and her grandkids. Like there's nothing like family. It's just like, that's it. It's a distinction. Familia. It's family. And I love it. So there she is, and there's some other people in the audience have that same thing. I don't have that distinction. The way in which my wife loves her parents, and my wife loves me, or my wife loves our kids, family, I have that for all humanity. I have that for anybody I see. They don't have to be related to me. That is my definition of family. So I have that as a background, that when they say, if you had one thing you could do to change the world, what would you do? And I invite you to listen very closely to this. We had a couple of different groups that came to our room, 15, 16 people, 2 different nights. And I can't remember who it was. And if that person stand up, and I'm not trying to embarrass you, I'm saying you had some impact why I put this in, what you said. In that room, she said, do you really think there's ever a possibility of world peace? That's what, who did that? Do you remember who was in the room with me? Who was it? Okay, so you asked the question, so here you go. I don't have the answer to that. Here's a possibility. So they hand me that topic. If you could do any one thing you could do, what would you do to change the world? I would modify all the sacred scriptures that teach the world must end with an Armageddon or some cataclysmic battle. I would modify all the holy scriptures that say one group of people has the truth and another doesn't. I would modify what parents teach their children so that any teachings would not divide or alienate people of different races, religions, and countries. And they would vanish overnight. In their place, I would insert the teaching that all people are equal, all people are valuable. When we come together to work for the common good of all the people, we have community instead of separation. We have unity instead of divisiveness. We have love instead of hate. I will now complete with sharing with you my document of who I am. And maybe a little explanation. I am the universe. Means I am being universal. Love is I am that. That means I am being love. Remember, seed, fruit. Be still and know that I am God. not your God, not the God, a creator, a God. I am being godly. I am a disciple of Jesus Christ. You may be of Allah. You may be of Vishnu, Krishna, rocks. I'm okay. I am being Christ-like. I am deeply moved by Spirit, the power of all creation. I am being moved by Spirit. See, I'm being this. It's not something to say. I'm being moved by the Spirit. If I'm being moved by the Spirit, and being is the seed, and I'm being moved by the Spirit, what is the tree going to be? I'm going to be moved by the Spirit. That happens every day. Some of you are witness of it, including that man right there. Like the Spirit says, dude, you got to clean some stuff up over here. And I'm moved by Spirit. I am consciously aware of other people's points of view, and I honor their right to have a different point of view. So I'm being consciously aware of someone else's point of view, and I'm honoring it. So guess who I can talk to? Anybody. They'd have any belief system. They could totally disagree with me. I am loving kindness. I am being loving and kind. Now you may say, well, wait a minute, what happened over here? It's like, oh, yeah, when I'm not, I did that. Forgive myself for judging myself as being rotten, which I was, go clean it up. Now I be loving kindness. An hour later, I have one of those for 3,000 of these other ones. That doesn't mean if I took $1 out of the bank, which I did over there, that I'm bankrupt. It just means that was a waste of that dollar, metaphorically, and I mix metaphors all the time, and it's not even a dollar, it's a rupee. What's it called? Rupee. I am that no one is worthy of my judgment. He wasn't worthy of my judgment. And everyone is worthy of my love. He was worthy of my love. I'm the one who did that out of who I was being. Out of who I was being, that's all I could do with that man. I am graciously authentic. Means I'm being graciously authentic. It's not like, I'm being that. I am strong, healthy, and attractive. I'm saying I am being strong, healthy, and attractive. If I plant, I'm strong, healthy, and attractive, and I plant that enough, do you think I'm going to get over here and get obese and heart disease and I can't walk? No, because that won't allow me to do it. My doing will clean that up. Hi, Gary. I love you. I love the way I love what I see. That's beautiful. I am divine intuition. That's not, I'm cool. You could be that too if you want. Just speak it. I am divine intuition. I am being divine intuition. So when I say I'm divine intuition, I'm really saying I am being. That's what this is what's going to go out here. And that being is going to create my doing. I won't have to figure it out. I'm connected to infinite intelligence. Connected to infinite intelligence. I plant that so much that when the tree comes and I have things, people go, dude, you don't even have a degree in chemistry. You were just in there with all those guys that did all this, and they want to know, did you go to MIT? Where did you how do you know this stuff? How I know it is I am being connected with infinite intelligence. I experienced extraordinary discernment and decision-making powers. I experienced extraordinary discernment and decision-making powers. I'm really saying I am being that I have extraordinary discernment and decision-making powers. And if somebody else thought that thought as much as I thought that, planted that plant that long, they would have that fruit. It wouldn't matter who it is. That's the power of being. I am that I dedicate all thought to union. I am being that. It doesn't mean, hold on a second, you weren't doing it over there. Yeah, that's like, I wasn't being at that moment. That means doesn't mean I'm not it forever. I am being. Can you hear me? It's a state of being. The doing will come out of it. The doing will come out of it. I am that I do not sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff, including death and dying. Now, if I plant that enough, there would be nothing that she could do in my world that would upset me. And if I get upset of what she did, I'm sweating the small stuff. So guess who has the problem? I do. Guess whose problem it always is if you really want to take responsibility for anything? It's always here. Oh, you can assign it out there if you want. I am that I have no complaints. I am being that I have no complaints. If I have no complaints as a state of being, and I plant it and I plant it and I plant it, what fruit will I have? No complaints. I'm not saying I never complain. I'm being that I have no complaints. And if I complain, I move that out and come from a place of having no complaints. I am connected to, hold on a second. Don't miss that. I distinctly remember forgetting that. And that is my past. I never wallow in it, try to get sympathy, try to have somebody feel sorry for me, or do something that manipulates somebody because of my story. I use my past to only lead, guide, and inspire. So I am being that I only use my past to lead, guide, and inspire. So I'm not going to, I use my past to lead, guide, and inspire. I'm not going to have a conversation, have somebody think, oh, it's too bad I had this. Look at me, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not going to come on the tree. Being is the seed. Doing is the fruit. Now, this is about Amy. I am madly in love. And I actually wanted to do this, so I'm going to. And I challenge you to do this if you'd like to. This is one of 60 pages that are in that book of ideas. I'm madly in love with my amazing, beautiful, gorgeous, delightful, effective, fun, happy, intelligent, joyful, kind, loving, magnificent, natural, optimistic, pleasant, quintessential, resourceful, sexy, talented, unerring, vivacious, wonderful, zennial, yeoman, and zestful girlfriend and wife, Amy Blake Hardison. So in essence, what I'm saying is I am being that she is amazing. If I'm being that she's amazing, guess what she can do over there? Anything. Because I'm being that she's amazing. So that's the A to Z on my wife. I invite you to A to Z somebody you love or A to Z yourself. Thank you for being here. Literally, this whole day has been about you. It's yours. You get to do what you want with it. You get to go and process it, think it was like this or like this. You get to talk about the way you want it, and that's exactly what it will give you. It will give you that. Let me see if I have something else that might be useful to say goodbye with. Oh, yes. Let's do this. Let's close. Rebecca sent me a book on the Tata stories, and I was so moved by it and what I learned about that family and what they do that I have two quotes to complete on with J.R.D. Tata. I don't know him. He's been gone a long time, but I would have really loved this man. I would love to have been with him, talked to him. He says, common people have an appetite for food. Uncommon people have an appetite for service. When we come from love, What comes out is pure service. He would love that quote if he were alive today. If I could do this with each of you, I would. Gary, stand up. This man here, he's having a great experience. Guess who's doing it? He is. And I could pick a couple of you out there, you're like grumpy, and you're doing that. Because I'm just the same dude doing the same thing. So I want you to look at Gary and know that he's created the experience today. How he's prepared for it, what he's thinking about. This is who he is. I want you to look inside yourself and say, how did the day go for you? Did you look for the good? Did you look for the gold? Did you look for the godliness? I invite you to do that in your life. Look for the good, look for the gold, and look for the godliness. Thanks. Thank you, Ranjan. I hope we're done on time.
Thank you so much, Steve. And no more words. The event, the experience, the ultimate experience, India, was the best ever international Being Summit. And this brings an end for the learner and leader level tickets. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you all for a wonderful, wonderful presence. Thank you all. Love you. Love you. Love you.